I was coaching soccer. There was a 15-year-old boy who was frustrated that day with practice, and I happened to just say the right thing or the wrong thing. He just lined up and drilled me with the ball. So sent my head backwards this way. I got whiplash here. I actually felt my brain hit the back of my head here.
I was crossing the street legally, and a woman went 35 miles an hour roughly when she turned left to beat traffic, and she hit me. I was told that I flipped twice in the air before landing on my right side.
In September of 1999, I was rear-ended on my way to teaching an evening lecture for DePaul University. Strange things began happening almost immediately. The police officer who came asked me for my insurance card. I took a pile of papers out of the glove box. I know the insurance card is in here, but I can't figure out how to get it. And in the end, he ended up giving me a ticket, even though the card was in my hand.
Your brain is like a TV, and it has all the plugs that go in for audio, visual, sound, all those things. And it's take all of those out, mix them up, and plug them all back in, and then try and create a picture with sound and make sense of that picture. Everything is affected when that perception is broken.
I didn't realize there was really anything serious wrong. It sounds crazy, but you not only lose so much functionality, you also lose the ability to understand that it's missing.
I was in a pretty serious car accident with my two daughters, and at first about 30 minutes, I felt pretty good, and then the symptoms kicked in. I couldn't find myself in space, so I was struggling with my peripheral vision. I couldn't figure out where to put my feet. My limbs were not coordinated. I had a brutal, serious headache for over a year. My speech deteriorated. My vocabulary went down to that, probably about a third grade level.
I couldn't do simple math. I couldn't read anymore. I could look at text on a page and I'd see letters. I could see the letters, I couldn't make sense of what that meant as a word.
Chronic pain, chronic tinnitus, chronic headache. This was uncontrollable, and I'd get frustrated, and it was like the world fell on me all over again.
My quality of life after the accident went down to, no quality at all. There was not any quality to it. I was struggling to exist on a daily basis just for main function.
After this decade of sliding further and further into the mire, I was at the point where I couldn't keep up anymore. I was going to become a ward of the state, lose my house, lose my job, lose custodian parenting of my children. I searched on the term brain plasticity, and by sheer luck came up with Donna Lee Marcus's name. I called her up. She brought me into her office, and almost immediately also referred me to her colleague Deborah Zelinsky. And in a very short order, the two of them, Dr. Marcus and Dr. Zelinsky, put me back together again.
Everything that she was doing was addressing the things that I knew I was having difficulty with. You can feel, oh wow, when I do that, I feel something that's not right. And you can really feel it when you're taking those tests.
And I was completely driven to find a better way. I listened to The Ghost in My Brain, and I wept as I read it, because it was the first time I ever encountered a text or a person that understood, and I had to go. I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad.
The fascinating thing about what's happened as a result of these lenses is that I am now, so back in 2004, I was diagnosed bipolar. I've been medicated for over 15 years for that diagnosis, and I am now completely off medication for a year and a half.
I explained to her the symptoms that I'd been having and how it had altered everything in my life. And I told her I was bound and determined to find something that was going to help. And she said, "You're a fighter, and I can tell that if you get these lenses, you're going to work hard to make this better. Your quality of life will improve." And I took those words really serious, and it's been an uphill journey ever since.
Going to Mind Eye Institute is the reason why I get to have the career that I've wanted for so long, that I get to do the work that is most meaningful to me and most edifying and makes me happy, and I get to have a happy life.
My quality of life has changed dramatically since especially that first 14 months. I'm able to communicate, I'm able to exercise, I'm able to make meals for my family.
When I got my first set of glasses, when I first got those, about 10 days later, I put them on at the house, and the second I put them on, I looked up at the TV and I could read.
During that period, having gotten these glasses, my body was contorting and my brain was waking up. I felt like a baby just learning how to reach for objects in the world around me. And by the end of the third week, I remember this moment coming into, after teaching, into my office and realizing I could find the door handle again. I could walk after teaching for the first time in 8 years. And I realized, you know, the ghost of who I had been was finally returning, and I just wept tears. I put my head down on the desk and thought, I'm back for the first time ever. I see this guy again that I thought I would never see this person again. It was, you know, a moment I will never forget.